Oh, wait, I didn't hear. Wait. I just have to put on the page later. Let's wait a couple of minutes. Things are good. Shit. That like from that it's all right. See right here, it's saying slow connection. Yes. Let's see what works. Yeah. They get like this bright. Or not like the something's wrong because it's still saying slow connection with the Facebook. God. Hey everybody. Came on a little bit late tonight. Wait a couple of more minutes to see who comes on and joins me. Just see if some people was. I don't know what's up with the slow connection, right? Hey, Miss Farla. Trying to make some things happen around here. This would be the week that my air conditioner is acting up, knowing I'm going through my own personal summers, right? No, Lord help me. Help me. How is everybody doing tonight? Babe, that looks a little bit better. That light is just illuminating. How is everybody doing? Happy Juneteenth to everybody. A federal holiday. This is when everybody got the news that all the slaves were free. And now it's a national holiday that people got off. So I hope you did something productive today. Let me move this floor out the way. I'm going to actually place it on the floor. with the cap off because I'm gonna be sipping a lot of water. So if my BFF is on here, if you don't like that I sip water out my jug, I don't have the big jug, then I have the small one, but I'm be sipping that water. I have to drink at least. They said two, but I'm doing one. As much as I've been going to the bathroom today. But let's get into our mid-week check-in before we get started. Tonight's topic is a really sketchy one. I learned a lot about this topic. It had my heart doing some palpitations with this topic, this subject that I'm about to go over with everybody. I learned some things about this topic. I'm still researching what's going on with this topic. It's an undercover MF. That's what I'm gonna call it, MF, an undercover MF. So let's go over our midweek check-in. So check-in, guys. If you're doing great, like I was doing, I'm doing great. I put that red heart up there. This is 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, my self-care, I've been doing great. I did not have a great weekend, my first weekend without my dad. Shout out to all those people that have awesome fathers, grandfathers, uncles, brothers, all those men in your life that are still above ground. Shout out to those people that have lost their fathers, uncles, brothers, those special men in their lives, but you just, you keep persevering on. It was the first year without my dad. I had some moments. Thank God for my Father in heaven that was able to help me get through those moments. And shout out to my twin sister, Kim G's. My big sister, Kim G's, that came over on Friday because I was going through it on Friday. But I'm feeling great right now. Put that red heart up if you're feeling great. Put a blue heart up if you're feeling okay. A yellow heart for ma. A green heart if things are tough and you're struggling. A purple heart if you're having a hard time and wouldn't mind if someone was to reach out to you. I would do that. A broken heart if you're really in a dark place. A pink heart if you're having some harmony and balance in your life. That orange heart if you're feeling optimistic and uplifting. You can put that brown emoji heart up there with the emoji poop sign if you're feeling kind of poopy right now. Sometimes we feel like that. You can put that white emoji heart up there if you're having some mixed emotions, blanklessness, innocence, and minimalism. Put up there that gray heart if you're feeling cool and self-restraint. Put up there that light blue emoji heart if you're feeling friendly and relaxing. And again, that black emoji heart if you're having some sadness and anger going up there. Hey, Miss Carla, you got a lot of them gray hearts up there. Okay, honey. Don't be feeling too friendly now. Don't be feeling too friendly. Okay. All right. I do want to remind everybody that we're still in the month of June. And I think I did National Migraine and Headache Awareness and Men's Health Awareness. We talked with our guy, Isaiah Benito, last week about grit and grace, some spiritual things that we talked about. June is also PTSD Awareness Month. It helps us to spread the word that effective PTSD treatments are available. Everyone with post-traumatic stress disorder, whether they are veterans or civilian survivors of sexual assault, serious accidents, natural disasters, or other traumatic events, needs to know that treatments really do work and can lead to a better quality of life. So PTSD is also in the month of June. People, be mindful when the 4th of July comes around, of the setting off the firecrackers and the fireworks and things like that. I know I'm one of those people. I don't like the fireworks. They scare the bejesus out of me. I get really, really afraid of them, even though I lived in North Philly, even though I'm around those things all the time. I had a really bad accident with the flare fireworks one time, and I freak out. So I don't do fireworks at all. My kids have never set a firecracker off at all. So just be really mindful. I think sometimes they put out signs now, please don't have fireworks around. There's a veteran that lives here and things of that nature when it comes to fireworks. So tonight, my protein shake. I titled this segment, Where Are They? I did a little sneak preview, I think a week and a half ago. I came on, I seen a lot of missing people on my Instagram, on my Facebook, mixed people, children, women, some men. I've seen, missing people. Now, by no means am I saying that the people that have been posted have been sex trafficked. No means am I saying that. I'm just spreading awareness of what sex traffic and human trafficking is. When we think about sex trafficking and human trafficking, to us, to people of color, the first thing that comes to our minds, they turn it in a little bit, is R. Kelly. R. Kelly was the first person they was like, he's convicted of sex trafficking these young girls. And we was like, what are they talking about? And then when they broke it down, that's what comes to our mind. This is a very, very secretive, I would say, kind of like the cartel. If you don't know about it, if you haven't heard about it, I've researched it. And the Department of Justice, a lot of big conglomerates, the US, and even over in the state that is really heavy with, still are being blindsided by this heavy, heavy, heavy thing that's going on with the sex trafficking and the human trafficking. But it caught my eye maybe 2 weeks ago when I did the live stream saying, please be mindful of your children. And I believe I stapled it somewhere. I'm always leaving notes somewhere. I never want to put information out there, and I'm wrong about it. I never want to do that. So I'm gonna table that for right now. I don't want to go back and have to remind myself. I want to, because this is a very sensitive topic again. So in no way, shape, or form am I saying that the pictures that I posted of any person that was missing or hasn't been found or anything has been sexed or human trafficked. No shape or form. They just, the family members have posted that they've been missing, and they've been asking for everybody to share their pictures of their loved ones. Okay. I just entitled it, Where Are They? Because when your loved one goes missing, you want to know where they are, right? And so the United States is again ranked one of the most worst countries in the world for human trafficking. We live in the United States. You're like, what do you mean the worst? According to a recently released report by the State Department, the top 3 nations of origin for victims of human trafficking, and this was done in 2018, were the United States, Mexico, and the Philippines. California is the worst offender out of all the United States when it comes to human trafficking violations, due in part to the fact that California is the most populous state in the country. I knew nothing about, again, sex trafficking until R. Kelly. I knew nothing about sex trafficking until me and my husband watched a movie, and I will post the trailer to the movie. I knew nothing about sex trafficking until my job, not the one I'm working at now, but my job was letting us know that be mindful, talk to your the parents to their kids about roadblocks. And this is when COVID was around. So 2019, kids were, we were all, the city was shut down. You had to stay at home with your children. And, kids at that time were, doing home, schoolwork at home. And sometimes they were doing their schoolwork on a computer, and sometimes they were not. And they would, get meted in these separate rooms, and adults was in there luring children into these rooms on Roblox, and we didn't know about it until someone, caught our eye onto it. And this when everything came into a light, not just about Roblox, but if the parents went to work and you left your teenage son or your older daughter home with your little siblings, someone would go into a chat with your daughter or your son and say, hey, they've been talking for 2 or 3 days, and let me send you lunch or breakfast. Give me your address and I'll DoorDash you something. And you have this perpetrator that you don't know now has your home address, right? It is estimated that between 15,000 to 50,000 women and children are forced into sexual slavery in the United States every year. And the total number varies wildly, as it is very difficult to research. When I was looking this stuff up, y'all, I had to make sure I had factual websites, the Department of Justice, Homeland Security. When I got down to the 25 cities with the most human trafficking cases, I had to make sure these was reputable websites. I couldn't use Wikipedia and everything that was on it because it was so much information, and I wanted to make sure I had the proper information for people that view this live and for myself, because I was learning for myself as well. Human trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion. So human trafficking and sex trafficking was kind of similar. But I was like, well, sex and human, those are two different terms, right? But they when they was breaking them down, they broke them down into a different terminology, and this is why. So human trafficking from Homeland Security, their definition in September of 2022. Human trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, or coercion to obtain some type of labor or commercial sex act. Every year, millions of men, women, and children are trafficked worldwide, including right here in the United States. It can happen in any community, and victims can be any age, race, gender, or nationality. We think this is happening in third world countries. It's right here in our faces now. It's right here in our faces. They say victim survivors in the United States, and this is coming from the Department of Justice, June 2023. There is no single profile of a trafficking victim. Victims of human trafficking can be anyone, regardless of race, color, national origin, disability, religion, age, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, socioeconomic status, education level, citizenship status, but as is the case in many crimes, exploitation and abuse, human traffickers often prey upon members of marginalized communities and other vulnerable individuals, including children in child welfare systems or children who have been involved in the juvenile justice system, runaways, homeless youth, unoccupied children, persons who do not have lawful immigration status in the United States, Black people, and other people of color, American Indians, Alaskan Natives, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, and other indigenous people of North America, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex, individuals, migrants, laborers, persons with disabilities, and individuals with substance use disorder. This means that they hit in and everybody. Did I just name everybody? Black people, transgender, queer. Your social economic status does not matter. Your educational level does not matter. Your age does not matter. Your gender does not matter. So us, open your eyes. Now, when I was talking about this 2 weeks ago, I know I had put on there the children from Africa, the girls' school from Africa, those 100 children, they are still missing. Just because they don't report it in the news anymore, those 100 girls from that school are still missing. The girls from Washington, D.C., they're still missing. The girls from Baltimore, they're still missing. I know people are still missing in Philadelphia. The girls that were missing in Philadelphia, they're still missing. More people are showing up missing. Where are they? Forced labor. Forced labor sometimes are also referred to as labor trafficking, encompassing the range of activities involved when a person uses force, fraud, coercion to expand the labor of services of another person. They call it domestic servitude. Now, if you can remember in Philadelphia, there was a time they busted some of our nulleries. You get our feet and our nails done, and some of the massage parlors, because they was doing domestic servitude. Some of the women were coming over here from different countries, and they were working off their labor. Does anybody remember that? The labor was being worked off. It was on the news. Some of these places were being busted. Domestic servitude is a form of forced labor in which the trafficker requires a victim to perform work in a private residence. Such circumstances create unique vulnerabilities. Domestic workers are often isolated and may work alone in a house. Their employer often controls their access to food, transportation, and housing. Wasn't that our ancestors back in slavery? Domestic servitude. This is where it gets catchy. Forced child labor. The term forced child labor describes forced labor schemes in which traffickers compel children to work. Traffickers often target children because they are more vulnerable. Although some children may legally engage in certain forms of work, forcing or coercing children to work remains illegal. Forms of slavery or slavery-like practices, including the sale of children, forced or compulsory child labor, debt bondage, and I can't even read what that says. That's so small. Despite legal prohibition and widespread condemnations, some indicators of forced labor of a child include situations in which the child appears to be in the custody of a non-family member and the child works financially benefits someone outside of the child's family, or the denial of food, rest, or schooling to a child who is working. When there was COVID, there was a lot of children that was found in factories overworked. Come on, people. It's happening right here in the United States. It's not happening just in these third world countries. It's happening right here under our noses. Right here under our noses. Child sex trafficking. In cases where an individual engages in any of the specified acts with a child under the age of 18, the means elements is irrelevant regardless of whether evidence of force, fraud, or coercion exists, the use of children in commercial sex is prohibited by law in the United States and most countries around the world. Most countries around the world is it prohibited not to have sex with children. Off the top of my head, I do know in Dubai, yeah, I'm calling them out. You can go in Dubai and have sex with children. You can go to, what's that city? That the four guys went to in the movie. They got married in, and they left the guy in the free. They had to put his finger in something. No, they got married. It's a comedy. Hey, Miss Burke. I'll think of it. I'll think of it. So, what is considered sex trafficking? Sex trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, or soliciting of a person for the purpose of commercial sex acts, in which commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion, or in which the person induced to perform such an act has not obtained or is not obtained to be 18 years old of age. I think I showed the YouTube video where the guy was saying that he didn't know that it can happen right here in America. It can happen in his house, right in front of his face. Like his daughter was like literally texting somebody back and forth, and his daughter said she didn't even know this man was just asking her to send, keep sending her pictures, and after a while, he started asking her to send pictures. And this is how they get you. So, what are the 5 stages of sex trafficking? When a trafficker begins to prey on a new victim, there is a 5-stage approach they will take to train the victims. The 5 stages of human trafficking are luring, grooming, gaming, coercion, and manipulation, exploitation, and lastly, recruitment. Who does this come to mind for me? Ghislaine. Remember the lady that just got convicted? The guy died in jail. I can never remember his name. He died in jail, but they just convicted her because she used to recruit the girls from high school to go to this man's house and give him massages, and he would rape these or have sex with these young girls. Miss Carter said, I remember the photographer where was luring young teenagers, male and females, into sex trafficking here. Yes. That was back in the 80s or the 90s? Or wait, you telling your age now, Miss Carla? Yes. Absolutely. That's what that is. Yes. So how does it begin? Right? How does sex trafficking begin? The basics. People in sex trafficking situations almost always know and even trust or love the traffickers. Traffickers target vulnerable people who have needs that the traffickers can fill. Sometimes they offer material support, a place to live, clothing, a chance to get rich quick. Other times they offer love, emotional support, or a sense of belonging, kidnapping victims or enforcing them into sex trade through violence is rare. They'll offer them or they'll drug them up. They will drug them up. She said the 80s. I remember that. I remember that in the 80s. The 80s. Yeah. Who are the traffickers? Traffickers come from all genders. So Gasoline was a woman. And she honestly did not think she did anything wrong. She didn't think she did anything wrong. Whatever he wanted, she provided for him because she loved him. And she didn't think she did anything wrong. She didn't even know, according to her, what those girls did when that door was closed. After she sent them, she went out and recruited these girls. She did not. Traffickers come from all genders, race, ethnicities, and walks of life. In sex trafficking situations, they may be intimate partners or spouses of the victims, family members, friends, benefactors, business acquaintances, or even bosses. Who are the victims? Anyone can be trafficked, but some people are far more vulnerable than others because they have greater needs. These includes people living in poverty or an unstable housing situation, as well as people with history of trauma or addiction because of current historic discrimination and inequality, people of color, immigrants, people with who identify as LGBTQ plus and are more likely to be exploited for their vulnerabilities of facing trafficking. Why don't victims leave? I want to get more into who are the victims. I had a man call me yesterday about his 16-year-old daughter. He was very upset. He said, ma'am, my daughter, she said that. She said, I just, give me away. Just give me away. I don't want to be here anymore. He's too strict. What he say out his mouth. He has harsh things to say out of his mouth. And I don't want to be here anymore. And I asked her dad, have you asked her what does she need or what does she want? And he got quiet for a minute. He was like, no, I haven't asked. And so I said, she's crying out to you for something. I know she's doing it in a wrong type of way. And see, us as parents, we take on what our parents showed us in parenting. Even though we hated it. We hated the way our parents parented us. And we probably sit in the back of my mind, if I have kids, I ain't gonna treat my kids the way you treat me. But we take on that role. And so that's what he said. He said, my daughter is 16. She does good in school. If I let go the rope and let her hang herself, she's going to be pregnant. She's going to be dead in these streets, or she's going to be on drugs. And I said, okay, I listened to you. I said, is your daughter there? Let me talk to your daughter. And he gave me some little backdrop of the baby girl, of his daughter. And she got on the phone and I told her name and she's 16, so she gave me a little attitude. And I know she was moving the neck. And I said, such and such, I'm not going to preach to you on this phone. I'm not going to be on this phone with you too long. I asked her 3 questions. What do you think the problem is between you and your dad? She said, the way he talks to me, he doesn't care, and I feel trapped. I said, that all sounds like a communication problem. And I told her, I said, when is the next time you go to therapy? She said, we go actually today. Today. I said, good. So I said, is your dad? And so while I'm talking to her on the phone, her dad is doing something in the background. I hear him. And I say, I'm gonna call him Mr. N because his last name started with an N. I said, Put me on speakerphone. I said, so Mr. N can hear me. And she put me on speakerphone. I said, Mr. N can hear me. And he was like, yeah, I can hear you. I said, now, when you was talking with me, she heard everything you said about her. And I didn't hear her say nothing. I'm talking to her, and she's talking back to me about her. She ain't saying nothing to me about you, and you're interrupting her. He was like, no, because I'm just saying that ain't true. That ain't true. I said, but Mr. N, there's a you know a split between your communication. You think because you're the adult that you want to block what she's saying and correct her. You can't do that. I said, you're listening to correct her. You're not listening to hear her. Oh, he was like, you right, lady, but you're not going to fix everything that happened within the past 4 years in a 15-minute phone call. I said, I'm not here to do that. I'm just here to let y'all see what y'all have to compromise with. So I told the young girl, I said, listen, there's always going to be rules. You're going to have to compromise with your rules. I know you're not 12 no more. You're about to be 17. You almost finished school. You have these goals. I said, but when your daddy call you, and I know he's going to get on your nerves when he calling your cell phone, but these streets out here in North Philly, they kind of wicked. If he call you 9 times, you won't have to pick up their phone 8 and 9 times because he's checking up on you. I know you a little, you know you grown. You don't want to come in the house at 8 or 9 o'clock. So 11, 12 o'clock, compromise with your dad. You want the steps by 9, 10 o'clock. And again, if he call you at 9 and make sure you on the steps, pick up the phone. So I told him, I said, write 2 things down. You write 2 things down that's important to you that you think you can fix with your dad and compromise with. And dad, you write 2 things down that you want to talk to the therapist with and think you can compromise with. That child can be a victim. She comes from a broken home. She's feel abandoned. She has some trauma. Her self-esteem is low. And I asked her, I said, do you feel like anybody's on your side? She feel lonely in the world. She just feel like she can go to sleep and never wake up. Those are passive suicidal thoughts. Passive. I just want to go to sleep and never wake up. And when I asked her that, she paused. She was like, but I don't. I said, listen, I'm not coming to get the white coat and put it on you. I understand what you're going through. Trust me, I understand what you're going through. Times is hard, people. We have to listen and not listen to talk and get it and correct somebody. We have to actually listen for love. We have to listen to compromise. We have to listen to say, I wonder why my baby don't want to be here and they want to run away from home. He was like, well, she grown, she's smelling herself. Now he a man. Where he get she smelling herself from? Where he get that from? Unless he heard that from his mama. Why don't victims just leave? In many cases, people in sex trafficking situations do not see themselves as victims while they are being trafficked. They have been so expertly manipulated or groomed that they believe they are making their own choice to engage in commercial sex. These emotional ties are as powerful as being held in handcuffs or being behind bars. People in sex trafficking situations may well also depend on their traffickers for physical needs like money or shelter. They may face threats against them or their families or violence if they complain or try to leave. Now, this may feel like a pet from back in the day. This goes deeper into it. It rings sound good, don't it? This goes deeper into it. How do people get out of sex trafficking situations? Every story is different. What they have in common is resilience. Survivors come to their understandings that they want to leave the situation and then fight to get out. Sometimes they get help from service providers or anti trafficking organizations, but the concept of rescuing adult sex traffickers victims is misleading and dangerous. Survivors rescue themselves. How do we reduce or prevent sex trafficking? Human trafficking doesn't happen in a vacuum. It is the end result of other inequities in our society, in our economic system that make people vulnerable to the enticements of traffickers. So while prosecuting traffickers and seeking justice for survivors is vital, it is not enough by itself to end trafficking. To reduce trafficking at a massive scale of the problem, we need to work together as a society to increase supports and services for vulnerable people and change conditions like homelessness, family violence, poverty, discrimination, that people may be vulnerable to lure traffickers. Traffickers also use social media to impersonate victims, spread damaging rumors, distribute intimate images, or stalk a victim's account actively even after they have left the trafficker. The National Human Trafficking Hotline has recorded recruitment in all types of sex labor trafficking on social media platforms, including but not limited to, listen, guys, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Kik, K-I-K, MeetMe.com, WhatsApp, and dating sites like Tinder, Grindr, Plenty of Fish. Check your children's for these apps. Facebook has Facebook dating. I don't know if Instagram has Facebook dating, but you can do all these things on Messenger. You have to be really, really careful. You have to be really careful. I know I had hamburger. This is not the one. Because it was something on here. Oh, I'm going to put it on in the comment section. So there's a couple of things, and I think I might remember it off the top of my head for what you have to do when you do a missing persons report. And Sheree, if you're on, I'm going to put you on the spot. If you remember that, what do you need to do to make a missing persons report? That's really, really important. We do it at 988. We'll take the information. For missing persons report. But the 25 cities in which the most human trafficking cases, the city that's ranked number 1 is Houston, Texas. Los Angeles is ranked number 2, and these stats have changed. So I'm going to put the new stats in the comments section. New York is number 3, DC is number 4, Chicago is number 5, Las Vegas is 6, Atlanta is 7, Dallas, Texas is 8, Miami, Florida is 9, Columbus, Ohio is 10, San Diego is 11, San Francisco is 12, Sacramento is 13, Baltimore is 14, Orlando, Florida is 15, Phoenix, Arizona is 16, Detroit is 17, Philadelphia is 18, Portland is 19, San Jose, California is 20, Austin, Texas is 21, Seattle, Washington is 22. San Antonio, Texas is 23. Oakland, California is 24. And Tampa, Florida is 25. 25 cities with the most human trafficking cases. These are all states in the United States, places in the United States. As I was saying, you have to be mindful. One of the things that I used to tell my kids when they left, once they got a certain age, I would call my kids on their cell phones. Cell phones, when they first came out, everybody wanted to make sure you knew they had a cell phone. You would, yeah, girl, what you doing? You was on the phone, but now you got the earplugs and you're trying to be private with your call, or unless you want somebody to hear you talking, but you try to be private with your call. And so when they first came out, I called my kids, where you at? You're not home. You're supposed to be home. And mom, I'm over such and such house. Well, who is such and such? When I leave the house, I tell you where I'm going. I'm grown. So if I'm grown and I'm telling you where I'm going, I would like to know where you're going and who you with. And they understood that as they got older. My daughter understood that as she had her son. It's not that I want to know your whereabouts. If something happened to you and I have to notify the authorities, they're going to ask, well, do you know where she went? Do you have a recent picture of her? Do you have any of her friends' contact information? And now with cell phones, you can have that app on there, find the phone. Or like my daughter has the SOS. I can do an SOS and it probably can track her phone. Even though I have an Android, it may have iPhones. But technology is good at this moment. But what if technology it fails us? Word of mouth is everything. I need to know who your peoples is. When my kids is dating somebody and they get serious with that person after a year, because maybe two, I need to know who your peoples is. Who your people? Where they from? Where they be at? And who they people. A lot of people don't do that anymore. And so they be like, well, I don't know. She was with such and such, and that ain't even her best friend. You see it all the time on the news. The no gun zone. The guy put on there. He said on there was so pivotal to me. You guys are out here honoring the no snitch rule, but why don't you honor the rule where you tell your man if you had a beef with somebody else? Why don't you honor the rule where you don't murder kids and women? All these rules that we're supposed to honor in the streets, you're not honoring them. That's a rule that I set in my house. When I'm leaving, I want you to know where I'm at. Yeah, they don't know their real name. Yeah, his name's Ziggy. Who's Ziggy? What's his government? What he look like? And people quick to throw up things that people quick to throw up an Instagram page. That ain't even a page. And with numbers, you can get a text now number. They ain't their number. You don't even know the address of where they live at. It's crazy. You have to get substantial evidence. This is important information. Do you not care for your children to have this information with you? Trust me, because if something happened to mine, I'm coming for you. Just that simple. I'm coming to your house. I'm going to your mom's house, going to your grandma's house, going to your aunt's house. I'm going to the police station, and I'm going back to your house, going to your mom's house, your aunt's house, your grandma's house. If you have siblings, they all know me. It's peace at night to lay your head down and to know that even your small children, to know they're in bed, to know that they're safe, to wake up in the morning and see your children in bed at night. It's even peace to go to sleep at night, to know that your grown children are either in their house, in their apartment, or they're at work, or that you can go and knock on their door and they in there listening to their music, or they knocked out, or they downstairs 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning eating a bowl of cereal. That's peace. It's not peace when a mother or father, grandmama, and aunt, and uncle cannot find their child. They don't know where their child. They last seen them May 11th. It's not peace. It's not peace of mind. They can't sleep. They can't function. They are worried about their loved one. Oh, thank you, Dad. They're worried about their loved one. So that rain is coming down. I hope it cool off. It cool it off. Sex trafficking and human trafficking is in the United States and does not have a respecter of person. Okay? It does not. And as I said on my live 2 weeks ago, I was getting on my husband hard and heavy. I was getting my husband would say, when you leave work, call me when you get in the car. When you leave work, call me when you're getting close to the house. When you get on the block, call me so I can come to your car and park the car, or walk you down the street when you come home. Sometimes I wouldn't do it. 'Cause I'm like, I'm grown. I can park the car myself. It ain't that dark. I can do. God showed you things. One day it was two people. It was a child, and then it was maybe a 24-year-old person. Then the next day it was a man. He was last seen, and the next day it was another child, and then 2 days after that it was like six people back to back. Sunday, Monday, and I think I did the live Tuesday. And when I called my husband on the phone, I was like, "Babe, I'm so sorry, for giving you all that sass, telling you that I'm grown, that I can't, I can come to the car myself." Because I had told him, I was like, if somebody going to hurt me, what you going to do? You don't got a gun. I don't got a gun. What you going to do? They going to shoot both of us. But they can't take me if he's with me, right? They're not gonna do that if it's another person with you. If you have a witness with you. So and I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying if you go on these dating apps, Tinder and Grinder and Plenty of Fish. Plenty of Fish has been in the news for a lot of things. Meetme.com, WhatsApp, Snapchat. I'm not saying, but be cautious with it. Even if you're going on a date, if you met somebody at church, if you met somebody, when you was at a music festival, wherever you meet somebody and you don't know this person, Philly, I mean, it's with the internet, it's so broad now. You can date somebody in Baltimore and you living in Philly. And over the weekend, you're going to Baltimore to spend the weekend with this person. Over the weekend, you're going to, the district to go spend the weekend with somebody. Over the weekend, you're going to DC. Yeah, you independent. You even a man. I said this the other day. Even a man. You going to DC to meet this chick that you done met on the gram, and you ain't coming home. Your mom ain't seen you since the Friday. Your cousin ain't seen you since Friday. Your job ain't seen you since Friday, and they suspicious. And they doing a wellness check, and you ain't home. Now it's another Friday. Now it's a week, and something's wrong. This ain't like my son. Your man's like, that ain't like my dude. We go to the gym. We play ball. We always on schedule. Something can happen to a grown, physically strong man that went to DC to meet some chick on the gram. I ain't putting the females out there, but some chicks is like that. Listen, y'all get together and y'all put something in these men drinks and y'all rob them blind. I done seen it happen. I done heard it happen. I know it happened. I ain't ratting on nobody with it, but I know what happens. Y'all rob them blind. And sometime if you wake up and act, One of the things my daughter told me when I got upset at them for not calling me on their cell phones is, Mama, text is communication. And I thought she was being smart. I thought she was being smart. I'm like, no, it's not communication. I want to hear your voice. And she was like, no, I did. I text you. Look at the text. And I looked at the text and she did answer my question. And I was like, okay. All right. And so that's what started my Good Morning Club. It's a group of people that I love and I honor. I text them every single morning, except Saturday and Sunday, to give people a reprieve because I know they get tired of me texting them sometimes 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. But I text a group of people that I love and honor good morning, Monday through Friday, because of my daughter. And sometimes when I see that somebody don't text me back, if it gets too later in the day, I'm giving them a call because I know they text me back every single day. The latest, it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So because it might be a busy day for them. Know your kids' patterns, know their behaviors, but also know their friends. Know who their friends are. Know their people. The same things that happened with us back in the day. Where was that village at? That village is still there. We cannot be afraid to give your kids consequences. You're not going to Bob Joe's house if I don't know who Bob Joe's mom is. Who over there? And go over there and see who over there. Hey, my name is Christine. What's your name? That's my son. He coming around here to play with your son. Let me see what your house look like. Or he can't come in there. This happens all the time. You see it on the news. Some person got shot with a gun, and my son got shot with a gun, and I don't know why he got shot with a gun, because you ain't go in their house and look. Or if somebody got touched, you didn't go in their house and look and check. Our parents didn't play that. Things do happen. But we have to get the information. You have to make sure you got the information. Check up on your small kids and still check up on your grown adults. I tell my kids, I don't care if I'm 90 and they 75, y'all still my babies. If you're going somewhere, call your mama. Mom, I'm going out of town for a couple of days. All right, give me the hotel address and a hotel phone number. Yes, it's out of town. Yes, they in Mexico, but I need the hotel address and the number and when you coming back. Because best believe when we leaving, they got the address, the number, the flight, and when we coming back. It's just that simple. I just want to send a prayer out to the families that have loved ones that's missing, that they don't know where their loved ones. And I pray that they find them in good health. I pray that they come home. I pray that nothing unfortunate has happened to their loved ones, that they find safety. And even if they ran away because of some discord, because of an argument, um, because of something that was, done to them at home from somebody or someone or something. I pray that they find their way back to a place of safety, a place of love, and that things will get back to the way that God has ordained them to have God first, the man of the house, the husband, the father, the daddy, the wife, and the children. And if it's not that way, have the mother, the grandmother, the auntie. Put your house in order, Father God, in your name, Jesus. We need you like never before. We need you like never before. Bring these people back home to their loved ones. In Jesus' name. Have thy way, Father God. Have thy way. Guys, I wish you the best tonight. I just want to give you some updates on some things. So I was supposed to be doing um split between fostering and birth parent, but both of my special guests were not able to make this date. So that's going to be rescheduled again. Um, Dope is having their fundraising gala on June 22nd. Tickets are still available for $75. That's going to be from 7:30 to 10 o'clock. If you want a ticket, please inbox my sister friend Jay Gurrell for more information. This gala is going to be at the Discovery Center. You can dress up beautifully there. My juicing company is going to be giving away two gift certificates for $30 a piece to help her fundraise. Next Wednesday, I will not be on. Next Wednesday is June 26th. That's me and my husband's um, wedding anniversary. We will be together for 3 years. Praise God. We will be on vacation, but I will be doing a rebroadcast of a live broadcast that I did with my big sister Roz Tolly and her radio station Real um, Radio, Real Change Radio. I'm gonna rebroadcast that. I was talking about my book, When Horrible Things Happen, Revealing the Secret to Break a Curse. So and I'll leave her the link in my chat about her radio station and how you can listen to it. It's a Christian radio station. She plays the nicest, funkiest mixture of Christian music that you can listen to. So June 26th, I will not be on, but you can still enjoy that interview with me and Roz on her radio station, Rule Change Radio. I guess you guys can enjoy, if you're in Philadelphia, the sound of this rain that's coming from out there. Like it's really pouring down out there. It sounds really good. And it's not. Enjoy the rest of your night. I love you guys and be safe. Uh-uh.